A tram's mysterious zigzags. Now, if you look closely at a tram's overhead lines, you'll see that its contact wires zigzag back and forth instead of going in a straight line. To start with, all trams have an arm-like structure called a pantograph attached to the roofs. The upper part of the pantograph is gradually worn down by the overhead wire and eventually needs to be replaced. To wear it down evenly, the wire isn't installed strictly along the tram's straight path, but in a zigzag instead. As the tram moves, the pantograph slides along the wire and it wears down evenly. How practical is that? Who killed the king? Not me, no sir, In a standard 52 deck of cards, the King of Hearts looks kinda strange. Sure, he's the only king without a mustache. But what's even weirder is that he's the only king who appears to be sticking his sword straight into his head. How? There are actually several theories on this. The first theory suggests that, originally, the King of Hearts wielded an axe in his left hand. But due to centuries of card makers copying the image badly, the king's axe disappeared and started to look more like a sword. Another theory claims that the King of Hearts represents the emotionally unbalanced French king, Charles VII. According to popular theory, the king went crazy and put a sword through his head from fear of being poisoned. Well, either way will get you. Some historians also argue that the King of Hearts represents Ajax the Great, while the Queen of Hearts is Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman in the world. Ajax was one of Helen's admirers, but when she refused him, he chose to commit suicide by stabbing himself with his own sword. Come on, get over it! The Royal Coat of Arms of the United Kingdom. If you've ever seen British coins, you might have thought nothing of them. Well, the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 pence pieces actually depict sections of the Royal Coat of Arms. When laid out together, they form the whole shield. And the £1 coin depicts the entire shield on its backside. Pretty cool, huh? It's like a monetary mosaic. Hey, think about a tattoo like that for your backside. You'd be sitting on a fortune. Well, maybe not a fortune. The open jar symbol on cosmetics packaging. Ladies, have you ever searched high and low for an expiration date on your makeup, all to no avail? In the future, just look for this little open jar icon. It's called the PAO, period after opening, and it tells you how long you can safely use the product after opening it. The jar is usually accompanied by a number with the letter M, which stands for months, and it can be seen on almost all cosmetics products. Just make sure you remember exactly when you open the package, so you'll know when 3, 6, 9, or however many months indicated have passed. Really? Makeup goes bad after 3 months? Or maybe they just want you to buy some more, you think? The Statue of Liberty's crown. I'm sure you're familiar with Lady Liberty, whether you've seen her in person or in a picture. But have you ever noticed how many spikes are in her crown? And do you know what they represent? Well, there are 7 of them, and they represent the 7 seas and 7 continents of the world, showing that freedom and liberty are universal concepts that should be shared across the world. And that crown of hers is a pretty heavy weight to bear. Each spike weighs 150 pounds. The crown also has 25 windows, showing a great view. I know, I've been up there myself. Now, here's another cool fact. She was originally the color of pennies because she's made entirely of the same material, copper. Over time, the copper oxidized, and she turned that bluish-green patina color that we know her today. Can you imagine a reddish-brown colored Statue of Liberty? Weird. Blank pages in books. Now, you've probably noticed that many books have a few blank pages at the beginning and/or end. But do you know why? Book pages are often printed on large sheets of paper rather than on small individual ones. And if there isn't enough content to fill these sheets, there will be blank pages. Publishers often print the word "notes" or leave some other sign on them, so readers don't think it's a printing mistake. Colorful toothpaste. Have you ever wondered why classic toothpaste is striped red, white, and blue? It's because it's French, right? Nah. It turns out that each stripe has different ingredients and purposes. Fluoride, the white part, is the most important ingredient in toothpaste. It helps whiten your teeth and remove plaque. The blue or green gel has antimicrobial and breath-freshening effects. The red part was added later. It contains crucial elements for healthy gums. In fact, keeping the colors in separate stripes isn't really necessary. It's just a clever marketing strategy. The tiny pocket inside your jeans pocket? It's not for rings or coins. It was made for pocket watches. What's a pocket watch? It goes in your jeans pocket. Okay, we'll move on. Blue bristles on your toothbrush fading. It's a sure sign that it's time to replace it. That's why they're there. Or your roommate's been using your toothbrush. As for the stripes in your toothpaste, each color has its own function. The white removes stains and, well, whitens teeth. The blue gives you fresh breath and protects against germs. The red stripe protects and strengthens gums. And the tongue has to fend for itself. A similar thing going on with the 3 rings on a phone jack. Each one represents different components. If your audio jack has 3 rings, it means your device can produce stereo sound, and your earphones have the microphone function. The holes in the bottom of earphones allow air to circulate up and through the speakers. It helps increase low frequencies, making the bass sound deeper. You know, it's all about the bass. And the whole sound quality much better. Trailers used to be shown at the end of the movie, not the beginning like now. That's why they're called trailers. Trail means to follow. Previews works for me. Have you ever wondered why bulky wooden clothes hangers are still a thing? It's because the natural oils in them repel moths. More specifically, if the hangers are made of cedar. Let's say someone gives you a hard-boiled egg and you're not sure if it's fresh or not. Here's the trick. If it peels easily, it's older. Fresher eggs are harder to peel. Or maybe you'd just rather make your own boiled eggs. To know if it's fully cooked, just spin it on the countertop. If the egg spins steadily without immediately falling over, it's done. Bath foam was invented not only for fun. It relieves stress, cleanses the skin, and most importantly, it keeps the water warm. Foam is made up of tiny air bubbles that form an insulating layer on the top of the water, keeping heat from escaping. Today, we wear rings as a stylish accessory or to show marital status, but they used to serve more practical purposes. For example, nobility used rings as a seal stamp, and archers wore them to protect their thumbs from bowstring injuries. Perfumes are used for a pleasant aroma, but they used to act as a medicine against fleas, poison, and even the plague. That big, toothy spoon is great for grabbing spaghetti out of the pot, but you can also use it before the dish is even ready. See that hole in the spoon? It's there to measure portions. However many dry noodles you can fit into it, that's the amount one person needs. Your frying pan also has a handy hole in it. That big one in the handle is there to hold your stirring spoon. That way, you won't get sauce all over the top of your counter or stove. And of course, you can hang the pan on the wall to save space. You can also hang your ruler on the wall, maybe next to your frying pan. That's why they have a hole in one end, not for spinning the ruler around on the end of your pencil, though that's fun too. If you're a truck driver, you might be familiar with this one. The rumble strips on the side of the road are there to wake up sleepy drivers who doze off behind the wheel. When your tires drift off onto these strips, the noise and vibration work like an alarm clock. Black coal eyeliner was originally made to protect the eyes from the scorching sun. The ancient Egyptians and pirates made use of it. Does that explain those black stripes football players paint under their eyes? The kings, depicted on playing cards, are real historical figures. Spades is King David, clubs Alexander the Great, hearts Charlemagne, and diamonds Julius Caesar. They say a mattress doubles in weight after 10 years because of built-up dust, mites, flaked-off skin cells, sweat, body oil, and other things that don't sound too pleasant to sleep on. Sorry, but an old mattress does contain all those things, but there's no scientific proof that it gets 2 times heavier because of them. So, good news? Those 2 holes in a lollipop stick may make for a cool after-treat whistle, but they're actually there to hold the candy in place. The stick is dipped in hot liquid syrup, it flows into the holes, solidifies, and is firmly stuck to the stick. As for the hole in your pen cap, it's for safety. Too many people like to chew on the end cap of their pen, and they could accidentally swallow it. The hole is there in case that happens, to let air through so the person can breathe. That's also why Lego characters have a hole in their head. We've been using Post-it notes wrong this whole time. You're not supposed to peel it off from the bottom. This creates a crease in the paper, and the note won't stick as well. Tear it off from the side. It'll stick for longer. The blue half of an eraser wasn't created to erase pen ink. It's for pencil used on rougher paper. And finally, the biggest mystery of them all. Why does your shower curtain stick to you when you're in there trying to get clean? According to the shower curtain effect, the hot water lowers the air pressure behind the curtain. The higher, denser pressure outside the shower pushes the curtain in, making you feel like your shower curtain is out to get you. But no, it's just feeling a little clingy. Yep, moving objects through a door when it keeps closing is super annoying. So instead, tie a rubber band around the handle on each side of the door so that it crosses over the latch. The latch then won't be able to pop out, and the door won't lock shut. To check whether your bed sheets are fully dried, take a mirror and place it underneath. Leave it there for around 5 minutes, and if it steams up, it means the sheets are still damp. A damp bed can be a breeding ground for mold and other nasty fungi. You can paint the end of your keys with different colored nail polish so that you can easily identify which key is which. In order to pour the perfect amount of oil or salad dressing, poke holes in the foil seal rather than removing it completely. This prevents a big amount rushing out quickly. To prevent Band-Aids from slipping off your finger, cut a line on either side. This will create 4 smaller sticky strips rather than one large one, and it will be much easier to secure. If you enter a public restroom and see a red Solo cup someone put under the seat, better choose another booth. It means there's no toilet paper in this one. The red cup is a frequent replacement for a toilet paper hub, which is also put under the seat for the same reason. Speaking of restrooms, almost any public toilet has a large gap between the floor and the door. The reason for such a zero privacy thing is to actually minimize the level of privacy and comfort so that people won't stay there long and there'd be no lines. It's also to clean and safer if some emergency occurs. Forgot to put your drink in the fridge? Wrap a wet paper towel around it and put it in the freezer. In just 15 minutes, your drink will be ice cold. Instead of filling your purse or wallet with store loyalty cards, you can take a photo of them. Just take one snap of the barcode as well as a picture of the front so you know which card it is. Then, when you visit the store, just scan the barcode on your phone to collect your points. If you're using your phone to watch something and are tired of propping it up and having it fall back down, try using your sunglasses. Simply place them upside down and use the parts that go around your ears to hold the phone in place. Now, if you don't have the correct size coin to put in your shopping cart next time you go to the supermarket, you can use your key instead. If you have a key with a rounded end, you can insert that where the coin would go and the cart should unlock. If you're struggling to get your taco shells to stay in place, use a muffin tray. Flip the tray upside down, spray it with oil, and place your tortillas in the gap. Cook them for around 10 minutes at 700 degrees Fahrenheit for the perfect crispy taco shell. You can use a water bottle to separate egg yolks. Hold the bottle over the yolk and squeeze it to suck the yolk up. Drop it into a separate bowl and you're good to go. Next time you're struggling to clean your ceiling fan, use a pillowcase. Slide the pillowcase over each blade to wipe off the dust. This way, excess dust is caught inside the pillowcase and won't rain down on you. To properly clean your blender, fill it with soap and hot water. Switch it on for around 10 seconds and let the swirling water do the hard work. Then just rinse it off and it's clean. Put down a strip of masking tape before nailing into plaster walls. The tape should stop the plaster from flaking or spreading dust all over the floor. If your shoes smell bad, put a few dry tea bags into the shoe. The tea bags will absorb the smell. Try using toothpaste to remove small scratches on furniture. Rub a peanut-size amount on the scratch in a circular motion until the scratch buffs out. Then wipe it with a damp cloth and voila! Drill a couple of small holes in the bottom of your trash can to stop the bag getting stuck when you pull it out. The holes stop the vacuum-like effect that keeps the bag pinned down. You can easily remove the sticky residue from jars using cooking oil. Soak a cotton pad in some oil, then rub it on the sticky area. Allow it to sit for a few minutes, then it should wipe away easily. Now, you can use hair conditioner to make that new wool sweater less itchy. Just soak it in lukewarm water with a couple of tablespoons of conditioner and leave it for 15 minutes. Then just dry it and your sweater will be much softer. An odor on your fingers can be removed with some minty toothpaste. Rub them together with toothpaste, then rinse them clean. It'll help get rid of the odor and act as a light scrub, too. Now, before you throw out those old sneakers, arm yourself with an old toothbrush and a little toothpaste. Work the paste into the dirty spots and leave it for at least 10 minutes. Wipe it off with a damp cloth and repeat if it didn't do it right the first time. Be careful with colored toothpaste, it may leave stains. Washing your clothes on a low heat, or even better, a cold wash, will make them last twice as long. Drying them on the line, if possible, will also make the material last longer than if you used a dryer. Metal zippers are very durable, but they'll snag more than other kinds of zippers. Just gently rub a bar of soap over the teeth of both sides of the zipper. The residue will help lubricate it, making it easier to slide open and closed. When you can't squeeze any more toothpaste out of your tube, just cut the end off. This will allow you to get what's left inside onto your toothbrush in a pinch. If there's enough for more than one use, place it in a plastic bag for later.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest today, the garbage bag. Canadian inventors created this irreplaceable household item about 70 years ago. Today, it comes in a huge variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. And if you think it can only serve one basic purpose, I have a big surprise for you. It can even prevent you from unwanted communication, but more on that later. What if I told you that you've been using your garbage bags wrong your entire life? If you take a closer look at it, you'll probably notice that the seam is inside out, and it's not by accident. In fact, you're not supposed to shake up the bag to open it. You gotta place the bag over a garbage can like a hat, and then just push the middle of the bag down to the can. No worries, You're not the only person who didn't know that. This eye-opening trick went viral online and got millions of views. Imagine that you need to dye your hair, paint walls, or mold a clay mug immediately, but you don't have a protective suit on hand. Here comes the good news. You can make one out of a plastic bag. It will take you less than a minute. Just find a bag wide enough to fit your torso. Cut one hole in the bottom of the bag for your head and make 2 holes for the arms on the sides. Voila! Feel free to make a hat from another plastic bag to protect your hair. When the job is done, you can wash this handmade suit and reuse it. Our next hack is for those who don't like to waste money. You can use a real plastic bag instead of a raincoat that looks like a plastic bag anyway. Just make a round cut for your face and you're ready to go. You can reuse it as many times as you want. You can use a plastic bottle to create a recycled bag dispenser. Take a large bottle. It can be either a bottle of soda or washing gel. What matters is its shape. It must be straight so you can easily store bags inside it. Wash the bottle, dry it, and cut off the bottleneck and bottom. Turn it upside down. There you go. Your bag dispenser is ready. You can use your imagination to paint and decorate your DIY project with stickers and lettering to your taste. When the design is ready, Attach it to the back of the bottle and stick this holder to the wall in your kitchen or one of the cabinet doors. Imagine you've been planning a perfect hiking weekend for ages. But when you actually get there, it starts raining. Don't rush back home. Plastic bags will serve you well if you need to put your clothes or equipment on wet grass. Also, you can make an emergency sleeping bag cover using a large garbage bag. After the rain, it will serve as a nice mattress to lay under your sleeping bag to protect it from moisture and provide an additional layer for a cozy nap. Just fill the bag with some soft leaves and straw that lie on the ground, and there you go. A large garbage bag can be your best friend when you're camping with friends somewhere in the wild. You can turn it into a temporary handmade shower, toilet, or even a dressing room out of it. Just hang it on the tree and no one will spy on you. If you went for a walk wearing a pair of your favorite shoes that get wet easily, here's an easy tip to keep your socks dry. Put plastic bags over your socks. Tuck the edges of the bags into your socks or trousers, and then put your shoes on. There's one obvious drawback though. Feet can slip inside the shoes, so be careful. These plastic socks are also handy when you're trying to put on tight jeans that usually make your feet stick inside them. Have you ever had your bag torn at the worst possible moment? A plastic bag with handles can become an emergency backpack. Just place your stuff inside the bag, put your hands through the handlers, and you're ready to go. A garbage bag is also a good material for book covers. You can reuse multicolored bags to create a unique pattern for your favorites. You're moving to a new house and packing all your belongings. Suddenly, you run out of boxes. Sounds familiar? No problem. Grab a package of large garbage bags and pack the remaining stuff. Unlike boxes, this packaging will protect your property from rain or snow. Garbage bags are especially good for packing blankets, pillows, and stuffed toys. If you need to make a vacuum packing for your clothes or stuffed toys, simply put your belongings in a trash bag, place a tube from your vacuum cleaner inside the bag, and then turn it on. The vacuum cleaner will remove all your excess hair from the bag, and you'll save space in your suitcase or basement. Someone really special has invited you home to cook a romantic dinner together. Finally, you want to show all your extraordinary cooking skills, but your special someone doesn't have an apron, and you don't want to mess up your new outfit. No worries. Make an emergency apron using a large garbage bag. It will surprise that special someone even more. Speaking of stylish outfits, are you familiar with the term garbage bag dress? Celebrities and famous fashion brands shock the audience with outfits looking like trash bags from time to time. Some of them actually make outfits using garbage bags like fabric. It's a popular option for young artists who can't afford to buy and use expensive fabrics. Garbage bags are very flexible, so they are a useful material for making patterns for future outfits. When it comes to garbage bags, the DIY project's possibilities are almost infinite. People use bags to make lampshades, clothes covers, small cosmetic bags, makeup organizers, recycled glasses, and whatnot. Some even weave baskets, bags, and floor rugs out of them. It's pretty easy to handcraft a rug. You need to cut several bags into equal strips and weave a long braid from these strips. Now twist this braid into a spiral and tie or glue each layer together. To secure this entire construction from breaking, you can screw your rug on a sewing machine from the middle to the edges, as if you're drawing a star. This plastic braid can also serve as emergency laces, a rope, or a handmade ribbon for decorating gifts and flowers.
Salt isn't just used for cooking. It can get rid of tough smells. Rubbing salt on your fingertips after chopping garlic should remove the smell. It also works on shoes. Toasters have a secret slide in the bottom that can be removed, so you can clean out all those annoying breadcrumbs. If you ever had problems with popping chocolates from the box, look at those little holes around them. They're there to help you. If you push a hole right next to the candy, it'll jump out easily. When you take a sip from a coffee cup with a lid, it decreases air pressure inside the cup, so air tries to get in. The tiny hole on the lid allows air to enter that way, so liquid can smoothly pour out the main hole. More on beverage lids. The small button on them let restaurant workers, and customers too, understand what's in a cup. Near each button, there's a name. Just look at which one is pushed down. The numbers on the fruit stickers tell you how exactly they were grown. If there are 4 digits and the first is 4 or 3, the fruit has been sprayed with pesticides. If there are 5 digits and the first is 9, the fruit has been grown organically. If there are 5 digits and the first is 8, the fruit has been genetically modified. When you're on your way back to the car after bagging up everything you bought, use loops on a shopping cart to hang the bags. Now, softer items like bread, eggs, fruit, and veggies won't get squashed by the heavier goods. If you don't have anyone to hold the other end of your tape measure when you try to measure something, tap a nail on it. Now, simply hook your tape on it using the tiny hole all tape measures have. The square-shaped spoon that goes with a McFlurry helps to mix the ice cream toppings through the dessert. The spoon hooks directly to a machine and spins around. Padlocks that are used outside quickly get out of order because of rain. See this little hole in the bottom? It's made for pouring engine oil inside. Do this and the key will again turn in the lock without any difficulty. You keep banging the bottom of a glass ketchup jar, but nothing's coming out. Here's a little tip. Turn your ketchup bottle at an angle and tap on the middle of the neck. In many fast food restaurants, customers fill tiny folded paper cups to get a portion of ketchup or mustard. Here's the news. The cups are supposed to unfold and turn into small paper platters to hold a great deal more sauce. That little hole on the handle of a pot or a frying pan isn't just for hanging them on the wall. During cooking, put the end of your utensil in the hole, and it'll be propped over the pot to save your kitchen from extra mess. The blue or any other dark color bristles on your toothbrush are meant to remind you when it's time to get a new one. If you see that bristles have become pale, change the toothbrush or its head. An extra hole at the upper part of the sink has multiple hidden functions. First, in case someone forgets to close the tap, the water won't overflow and the bathroom won't get flooded. Second, thanks to that hole, the water drains faster as it gives an escape for the air, helping the water flow down. Most metallic zippers have a hidden lock inside them to save you from awkward situations, such as an undone fly. Don't leave the zipper handle in an upward position. When you pull it downwards, it automatically locks. It's all thanks to those tiny grooves hidden underneath the handle. Spoiled milk emits gases, like most foods when they go off. A classic plastic milk jug has a concave shape on one side, so when the gases expand inside the jug, it expands too, and the concave shape curves out. Also, if you want to save some milk for later and freeze it, the jug will expand when the milk gets solid as well, occupying more space in a jug. Bath foam isn't only for fun or a nice smell. It also helps regulate the temperature. The bubbles keep the water hot, so you can enjoy a bath a bit longer. Anyway, it works for acrylic bathtubs only. Those made of metal lose heat really fast either way. Many cups and mugs have little grooves on the bottom on purpose. They're designed for washing machines. The grooves let the water flow and not spill over your feet when you take the cup out. Also, those grooves let the air flow so the cup doesn't crack even if the tea is scalding. A point on an ointment cap is there for a reason too. Most tubes are usually sealed with foil, and it's better to avoid opening it with fingers unless you're ready to say goodbye to your nails. A point easily opens even the most safely sealed tube. Escalator brushes aren't for keeping your shoes clean and polished. It might be tough to apply wax right on that brush while the escalator's on the move. It's for your safety. Brushes won't let you come close to the edge, so a long coat or bootcut jeans won't end up in between the steps. All Tic Tac containers are designed to dispense one Tic Tac every time you open it. The lid has the same shape as the candy. Turn the container upside down, gently shake it, and slowly open it. You'll notice only one candy stuck between those lid grooves. So if you just open the container and shake it until 5 or even more candies fall into your mouth, it means you've been eating Tic Tacs wrong all this time. The pom-pom on top of your beanie wasn't put there as a fashion accessory. The pom-pom was originally added to the hat to prevent sailors from banging their heads on the ceilings of the ships that were too low.
Those little escalator brushes aren't there to clean your shoes, even though they can do a rather good job. These bristles are actually a serious safety feature. Without them, clothes, shoelaces, and bags can get caught in them when they're too close to the sides. The little brushes are also there to tickle you, to remind you to look down and take care. Hey, I always thought it was a bug rubbing up against me. Half belts. Seriously, what's up with those things? Well, some military jackets used to double as blankets, and the half belt helped keep the extra material from getting in the soldier's way. Nowadays, they're mostly used as a fashion accessory. Accidentally stapling the wrong pages together is like the worst thing ever. Well, there are worse things, but it's certainly annoying, especially if the staple takes out a huge piece of your document with it when you try to pry it off. There's actually a simple way to make sure that the stapler pins are less tight and easier to pull out. Take a close look at that metal plate at the front of your stapler, known as the anvil. Turn the stapler upside down and adjust the settings. You're basically changing the stapler setting to temporary. No more tears, no more tears. Mention my name and you'll get a good seat. Toilet seat covers have been used wrong for way too long. I see you ripping off that flap that looks like a tongue. No, you're doing it all wrong. Instead of tearing it off, let the flap sit in the bowl after you put it down the cover. When you flush, the suction will pull on the flap and take it away. Aren't you glad you know that now? That dark square or rectangle at the end of your toothpaste tube, what does that mean? Is it color-coded to show what ingredients are in there? Or does it show whether the toothpaste is synthetic or natural? Well, sorry, but the truth isn't that exciting. The markings are there for the assembly machines. They help the machines know where to cut and fold each tube. We've all driven home from the supermarket, taken a right turn a little too hard, and crash! Sounds like the groceries volcano just erupted in the trunk. Look closely in the trunk. You might see some little hooks in there. You can hang your bags on them. Ooh. Yeah, some cars have them behind the front seats instead. You can use them to hang clothes or even your takeout bag. You may have noticed that members of the flight crew like to touch the overhead compartments while they're walking down the aisle. They don't have a weird desire to touch everything. There are actually handles along the edges to give them a better grip while walking. Go ahead and use them the next time you feel like a mid-air stroll. It's definitely better than grabbing onto everyone's headrests. Don't you hate that? A shiny brass doorknob adds just the right amount of fancy to your front door. But that's not all it does. Brass, like anything with copper alloy in it, has antimicrobial properties that many harmful germs and bacteria just can't stand. In high traffic areas, these brass knobs and handles are the perfect way to get rid of those nasty germs without having to use harsh chemicals all the time. The only downside is that brass is a lot more expensive than other metals. That might be why it's hardly used for this anymore. Does your toothbrush have a pattern of blue bristles weaved in with the white ones? It makes the toothbrush look a lot more stylish, but it's not just about looking good. Those bristles actually have a practical purpose. The blue dye is designed to wear off, around the same time as when you should replace your toothbrush. You should be switching out your toothbrush every 3 to 4 months anyway, but those blue bristles are there to give you a gentle nudge just in case you forget. Now, you walk over them every day and never think about it twice, but is there a reason maintenance hole covers are always round? In past civilizations, like ancient Rome, these covers used to be square-shaped slabs of stone. But all those edges and gaps led to plenty of stubbed toes and accidents for unsuspecting Romans. A round cover eliminated the problem. Plus, it meant you could only open it with a specialized tool. Probably a good idea. The thermos was invented by a Scottish scientist, but not for keeping his coffee warm. He just wanted to keep some chemicals at a stable temperature. He placed a small bottle inside of a larger one and then sucked all the air out from between the two bottles. This same technique is used to make the modern thermos. You can find a pincushion in just about every household, and strangely, it's always in the shape of a tomato. Ever wondered about that little strawberry dangling from the top? I'm no biologist, but I'm quite sure that strawberries don't grow on tomatoes. That little thing's for the needle you're currently using, so you don't lose it in that big pile you have. Stick deodorants go to waste when the casing starts rubbing against your skin, but there's still plenty left in there. Here's an easy trick to get it out. Unscrew the bottom and push it up from underneath. That'll give you a few more days at least. Some people still drive off from the gas station with the hose shoved in their gas tank. Oh boy. Luckily, gas companies figured out a solution. If you happen to drive off with the hose still in there, there's a magnetic connector that disengages when pulled. That way, you don't take the pump with you. Now that would be embarrassing. Opening jars can be tough, even for the strongest person. I need a pickle, stat. Ah! Luckily, there's a solution. Pop on some rubber gloves. These gloves aren't simply great for cleaning, they'll give you the extra grip you need to open even the toughest of containers. Now, your life is just a little bit better. You're welcome.